There's been another mass shooting on American soil, this time in California. And a Hammond police officer is kicked off the force and charged in the shooting death of a Portage woman. Those stories and more coming up next on Lakeshore Report.
We're here in Gary, Indiana.
Hello, I'm Kristen Estes, and this is Lakeshore Report.
On Wednesday, the nation was stunned by yet another mass shooting, this time at the Inland Regional Center in San Bernardino, California. 14 people were killed and more than 20 wounded when gunmen stormed in the facility and opened fire. Two suspects, Saeed Farouk and Tashfeen Malik, were killed after a gun battle with police, and at least one other individual has been detained. Local authorities, the FBI, and Homeland Security are involved in the investigation and say while there may be possible links to terrorism, other motives cannot be ruled out. President Barack Obama was quick to express sorrow for the families of all involved and just as quick to call for stronger gun controls.
It's going to be important for all of us, including our legislatures, to see what we can do to make sure that when individuals decide that they want to do somebody harm, we're making it a little harder for them to do it, because right now it's just too easy.
Indiana Governor Mike Pence has ordered all state flags to half-staff through Monday in honor of the victims of the tragedy. A former Hammond police officer has been charged with murder. On Thursday, Portage police arrested 31-year-old Kevin Alexander Campbell of Hobart for the November 18th murder of 30-year-old Tiara Thomas. Thomas was shot multiple times in her home at Portage's Park Place Apartments. Campbell, a police officer with the city of Hammond, was singled out by investigators as a person of interest. At that time, the Hammond Police Department stripped Campbell of his duties and placed him on leave before ultimately firing him last week. After Campbell's arrest, Portage Chief of Police Troy Williams said that no police officer is above the law.
We know the public wants the police officers held to a higher standard, and when something like this happens involving a police officer, it casts a shadow over all of us. I hope that the speed in which we were able to develop our case, obtain an arrest warrant, and take Mr. Campbell into custody shows the public that it does not matter who you are. If you come to our city to commit a heinous crime such as this, we will find you and we will arrest you.
Campbell is currently being held in the Porter County Jail without bond. This Tuesday was World AIDS Day. To commemorate the event, the Aliveness Project of Northwest Indiana, an organization to support those affected by AIDS and HIV, held their third annual Gospel Explosion at St. Mark's Church in East Chicago. Participants listened to speakers, enjoyed music and refreshments, and were offered free, confidential HIV testing. The Aliveness Project also handed out information and provided encouragement to those in Northwest Indiana already being impacted by the HIV and AIDS virus.
Let it be known that today is a day to celebrate yourself. Celebrate your health and the bounty of God's grace that runneth over like mighty waterfalls into cupped hands. Let it be known that you were born more than your body.
An estimated 30 million people are living with HIV. And it also indicated in the letter that 35 million people worldwide have died from HIV. We hear about it, we read about it, we never think it will directly affect us. And finally it hits home, and then we realize the significance of it, that it can affect our individual families, relatives, and friends.
We also understand that in order to make a difference in this present age, we must educate people in our communities on what is going on. Because without education, you don't know what to do.
Some Northwest Indiana residents got a generous helping hand this past week by taking part in the City of Gary's annual Thanksgiving turkey giveaway. Thousands of residents showed up to get a free Thanksgiving dinner with all the fixings. The meal included, among other things, a bag with stuffing, mashed potatoes, and more. They also got a turkey and milk. The meal is provided by Mayor Karen Freeman Wilson and the Gary Common Council. Participants say they look forward to the event and that without the city's help, they might not get to have a holiday dinner at all.
Well, it means a great deal. It means that my kids and I be able to have a blessed and thankful Thanksgiving. Takes a lot of stress off the family, and I'm just blessed that they handing them out.
The turkey is such a blessed thing for all the citizens of Gary, Indiana, and I hope that they really, really appreciate it because it's a blessing from the mayor, from the city clerk, and from everybody that was involved in it.
The city of Gary partnered with the Food Bank of Northwest Indiana for the annual event. Another organization we told you about a couple of weeks ago, the not-for-profit 500 Turkeys in Valparaiso, helped feed over 1,100 families over the Thanksgiving holiday. The organization works all year raising money to help pay for these meals, which include a turkey, dressing, and enough other items to make a complete Thanksgiving dinner. Recipients say the free meals go a long way toward making a tough time of year a little bit easier.
It just means that I'll be able to have a nice meal with my family and to be thankful for everything that I have.
Donations are already being welcomed to help out with next year's dinners at 500turkeys.com. Last week, people throughout the region hit local stores trying to grab those Black Friday deals as the holiday shopping season officially got underway. Post-Thanksgiving sales account for a big part of the retail industry's yearly revenue, and most retailers begin preparations months in advance. At Maryville South Lake Mall, managers at the JCPenney stores say they began planning for Black Friday on October 1st, when the holiday merchandise starts to arrive. Employees log products in, sort them, and then begin to get merchandise out onto the floor. A 12-member team helps prepare the store by putting up signs and banners to create a festive atmosphere. Additional merchandise is stored and staged on racks behind the scenes, so when items are sold out on the floor, new items are nearby and ready to be restocked. Not only are retailers going all out to be prepared, preparation is key for Black Friday shoppers and anyone braving stores this holiday season.
I would prepare, make sure you know what you're shopping for. You know, it's really not a day to just wander around and look. It's more of, you know, what's in the ad, what do I want to go get? And then beyond that, yes, if you know, because I'm not good at gift giving, so sometimes it takes me a while to walk around and see, okay, what is it that person would like? But you have to be patient, you have to be prepared, you have to be well rested, and you have to be ready to deal with crowds.
More and more shoppers are shying away from those crowds, preferring to find many of their gifts online. Because of all the pajama-clad consumers ordering on the web, the Monday after Thanksgiving is often referred to as Cyber Monday. As the temperature continues to drop and it becomes more and more likely that snow rather than rain will feature in the daily forecast, the Northern Indiana Public Service Company wants consumers to know that no one should have to go without heat. NIPSCO is partnering with agencies throughout the state of Indiana to help residents who have difficulty paying monthly heating bills with its Winter Assistance Program. Enrollment is ongoing for the federal Low-Income Energy Assistance Program, but NIPSCO says consumers have plenty of other options when money gets tight.
So if a customer is struggling to pay their bill, we encourage them to call NIPSCO and talk to one of our customer representatives just to see if there's anything that NIPSCO can do right off the bat. If there's like a budget plan or another service that they can sign up for. And if there's not anything that we can do in particular to help them, that's when we help them reach out to other organizations, the state and local ones that we partner with for other assistance.
More information can be found online at nipsco.com/payment assistance or by calling 1-800-4NIPSCO. Just ahead, Stephen Lattimore visits with a Gary boy making a big difference this holiday season, and the Toll Theater brings back a perennial Christmas favorite. It's all coming up next on Lakeshore Report.
The Valparaiso University Graduate School in Continuing Education will hold an open house for prospective students interested in earning a master's degree in education and teacher certification in 1 year. The open house will be from 5 to 6:30 p.m. December 8th at the Brown and Gold Room at the Hare Union VU, 1509 Chapel Drive in Valparaiso. The sons and daughters of Pearl Harbor survivors will conduct the annual National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day memorial service on Monday, December 7th. The service will be held outdoors at the Highland Main Square Park gazebo and start at 11:55 a.m. The Crown Point Parks and Recreation Department has announced the format and dates for their Wednesday and Friday night happy hour adult volleyball league. All volleyball matches will be played at Sparks Fitness, located at 1516 North Main Street in Crown Point. Get Lakeshore's full community calendar events list at lakeshorepublicmedia.org.
Back in June, we told you the story of Ricky Howard, an 11-year-old Gary boy who raises money for the Ronald McDonald House in Indianapolis. We have an update now about how he's making a special effort to help out for Christmas. Stephen Lattimore has more.
You may remember the story of 11-year-old Ricky Howard. He lives in Gary, Indiana, and he's sick. Despite that fact, he spends a lot of his time gathering food donations and money to donate here to the Ronald McDonald House in Indianapolis. Well, this time of year, it's toys, and he's making a big impact on the lives of sick kids right here in Indianapolis. At the Ronald McDonald House in Indianapolis, they're all about making a home away from home for families of sick children. They provide 52 rooms for 365 days a year, plus meals and snacks. It gives the families one less thing to deal with while caring for their sick child.
So for many of our families, their only focus is on being there for their child to make sure that they have the strength and support that they need to fight whatever battle they're fighting here at our local hospitals. So we take away all the worry when it comes to shelter, food, clothing, and during the holidays we bring a little bit of joy by providing presents and gifts and those items that really kind of mark the holidays for our families.
And then there's this little guy, Ricky Howard. He's 11 and from Gary, Indiana. He gets to play Santa Claus to the kids here at the Ronald McDonald House. Ricky knows firsthand what it's like to be a sick kid. He has problems with his pancreas, but he is doing better.
I'm doing really good because I haven't been in the hospital in a year, and so that's good.
He and his sponsors have given away about 5,000 toys, food donations, and money to help with the good work they do here. Ricky also donates Pop-Tops that are recycled, and they bring in a lot of money for the organization.
And having an 11-year-old who was so thoughtful to think about others throughout the year is really extraordinary.
Ricky's dad, Wes Howard, knows how valuable his son's work is for the families here at the Ronald McDonald House.
I've spent many nights crying at the hospital, but to give them back, makes that easier.
For Ricky, the reward is seeing the kids and the family's eyes light up on Christmas.
Because they're actually, instead of being, they get toys for Christmas, because some of the moms and dads, they can't get toys and stuff because they have to pay for hospital bills. And so that's one of the reasons why I like to do this, so kids can have a Christmas.
What about you for Christmas? What do you get?
I don't know.
What are you hoping for?
A tablet.
Have you been good enough to get a tablet?
I don't know.
I think you have. I think you probably have. Thanks to Ricky's sponsors, he now plans to take his program nationwide. He'll do a toy drive for a hospital in Louisville and in New York, and he'll also hit some local hospitals in Northwest Indiana. In Indianapolis, Stephen Lattimore, Lakeshore Report.
It's a tradition over a decade old that pays loving tribute to the holiday stylings of a decade long since past. It's the Toll Theater's fabulous 50s Christmas, a Hammond entertainment staple and one of my very favorite holiday events.
We created the show 13 years ago when we opened the theater. We wanted to do something that was unique that other people weren't doing during the holidays. Since Hammond was in its heyday in the 1950s, we thought giving a nod back to that time period would be the perfect marriage for the theater. What they can expect is like a musical variety show from the 1950s, like a Perry Como or Andy Williams TV Christmas special, live on stage. So it's not story-based, there are no characters or storylines, it's mostly music. We don't do anything that was written prior to 1959. So again, the music captures that authentic, nostalgic feel. We also do not steer away from Christmas music. It is a Christmas show, so we embrace both popular music, religious music in the show. And again, a lot of it's the popular music that everybody knows, but we try to do some interesting and new stuff as well, new meaning that people might not be as familiar with.
We definitely strive for a very rich, classic sound. We're trying to do a sort of a genuine recreation of the style of that time. And there's some incredible singers and incredible music in the show.
What really brings the element of that nostalgic television feel into it is that we recreate 18 vintage TV commercials, which are quite enjoyed by the audience. So that's what really gives it the nostalgic nod.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Halo, everybody, halo. Halo is the shampoo that glorifies your hair. So halo, everybody, halo. With laughter, lively curls, and brighter sparkling hair.
It's not a parody, it's a loving homage. We don't make fun of, although that's a fine line. Yeah, it was a completely different approach to marketing and advertising.
And as we've talked about in rehearsals, TV was a very new medium at the time. It was a sort of a period of discovery. How do we interact with audiences on TV? And so for a modern audience looking back, the style is just very unusual and quirky.
That's some apple pie.
Everything I've heard is that audiences love them. It's a cool kind of snapshot back into the 1950s. It's just a lot of fun. It's a great family experience.
Well, if you give him one now.
It's definitely festive. The whole point of the show is to get people in the Christmas spirit and to create a family tradition. So it's appropriate for all ages. People definitely leave like ready to go out and Christmas shop or sip a little eggnog. We have guests who will be back with us for the 13th year, so there are literally people who come every single year to start their holidays with us, which is fantastic.
Local theater is hugely important to keeping the art of theater alive and bringing it to different audiences. You have to make it so that theater is accessible. And so being able to go out and support a local theater like this and see people, performers that are local, and everybody here involved is from the area, and see just how talented these people are. There's nothing like the experience of seeing a show live and seeing something that will only ever happen once, that exact way, and connecting with the performers, or as a performer, connecting with the audience. As theater professionals, it's what we do it for. We do it for the audience. Theater is a great way to build community for performers, for the audience, and it's you know, a one-of-a-kind experience.
It's interesting because we change the show a little bit each year to keep it fresh for those that do return and visit. We get lots of feedback from them because they certainly have their favorite years. I mean, we've done everything from a 12-member cast with little kids in it to an all-female cast. So people provide input. The overall feedback is totally positive. We started the show in hopes of creating a family tradition for Hammond and Northwest Indiana, and I think that's exactly what we've done.
Twice a month, Lakeshore Report teams up with the Society of Innovators of Northwest Indiana, an Ivy Tech Community College initiative, to showcase some of the most forward-thinking projects and people the region has to offer. This week, Lakeshore Report meets a couple of local innovators tackling light pollution in urban areas, which can cause environmental problems and make it more difficult to see the stars. In Beverly Shores, Rosemary and Ellen Bell are working to reduce intrusive lights, making their town one of only a few in the world where one can truly appreciate the beauty of a dark sky.
Well, the innovation was to improve the quality of lighting in town, to improve the viewing of the night sky. It started small with looking at one light polluting street light in front of our home that illuminated the inside of the house at night, that you could read a book in the living room with the lights off. So it started with us thinking about what we might be able to do about that.
And what it developed into was Beverly Shores becoming the 7th dark sky community in the world. We became a dark sky community because Alan and I joined the International Dark Sky Association, started educating ourselves, and then we started educating the Environment Committee and then the bigger community. And actually, we took over this project from a group that had started it in 2003, I think, or maybe 2006. But what they wanted was what they call light amnesty. They wanted all the lights out, and that did not go over well. So when we took it over in 2009, our goal was to downward shield 48. It turned out to be 48 streetlights.
Well, we're pretty proud of it. There were only 6 others when we were granted the designation. I think there are 10 now, 10 or 11. So it's a sort of elite group. It's worldwide. There are dark sky communities in this country and in Europe. And it's a point of pride, I think, for the town.
We almost quit about 10 times. It was pretty laborious. But several times we said, is this worth it? There were many things that we really struggled with, but we persevered.
We feel like it's a better town for this, and that we have been, that the two of us and the Environment Committee and all the people in the community who supported the Dark Sky Initiative have been acting as real stewards for the environment in this town. We're a lovely town in a beautiful spot, and we've done something that enhances the environment of this place.
The Bells have received many calls from other towns looking to improve their own light quality. For more information on the Society of Innovators, you can go to www.nwisoi.org. And for more information on this or any of our stories, you can go to lakeshorepublicmedia.org. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you next time on Lakeshore Report.
Hi, joining me for this edition of Eye on the Arts is Spiro Batistatos, head of the South Shore Convention and Visitors Authority. Spiro, welcome back to Eye on the Arts.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. We have something like the elephant in the room here.
Well, it's kind of hard to notice, but maybe people will pick it up at some point.
Yes, so tell us, why did you bring such a thing?
Well, it's that time of year. At the Indiana Welcome Center, we have our 8th annual presentation of A Christmas Story Comes Home. So all 6 animatronic windows, Santa's Mountain, now Flick with his tongue permanently stuck to our flagpole out front, a number of special events including Wag Your Tail Wednesdays to get photos with your pets. We're going to do this coming Saturday the major event, which is kind of our kickoff for families. Then the Saturday after that, which I would believe, if I can do my math clearly, is the 12th. It would be our Oh Fudge tire relay race, and if you haven't seen that, it's just a blast.
Is it?
And then finally on December 19th, Saturday, our final special event is the Mama's Little Piggy All-You-Can-Eat Mashed Potato Contest.
Oh, that sounds...
So we have all kinds of fun with this event.
That sounds filling, all those mashed potatoes.
It is, and it's when you're watching the adults have to eat plate after plate after plate, you're like, oh, God.
It's a good thing you have a nice concrete floor to mop up afterwards. It sounds messy. Sounds like an I Love Lucy episode.
It could be.
So do you participate in any of these competitions yourself?
No, I'm just the MC. I just make sure everything goes well. I am not a competitive eater.
Have you ever slid down the Santa slide after?
Of course I have.
Yeah.
I had to be the first guy to try it.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I would you would honor us with your presence. That would be a great picture to have you coming down the slide.
Uh-huh. Well, be that as it may, I'll think about that. So the 6 windows were originally in Macy's Herald Square.
Correct.
And how did you get them?
They went then a year later to Boston, and they were in the Boston Macy's, and we were put in storage. And then we just came across them, and we cut a deal with Warner Brothers for the intellectual property rights. We paid Macy's some of the cost, and then so we own the windows. And you'll remember we built a new 7th window 2 years ago for the 30th anniversary. So one of the original 6 travels, the 7th new one stays, and that's the Ralphie dream sequence when he's got his Red Ryder BB gun and he's saving the family. That's the newest edition, and we did that for the 30th anniversary.
Well, what are the prizes for these competitions?
Well, you're going to ask me that. Traditionally, we've done father-son watches from Albert's or mother-daughter, whatever the combination is. A $250 packet from Scapel Buick or GMC for car maintenance. And so a number of different sponsors step up and really make it fun for the families to come out. At the mashed potato eating contest, we're going to have a $100 gift card for Family Express. So good stuff. And all kinds of other prizes and everything, but some stuff that's worthwhile.
And not that prizes are needed.
No.
Surely the experience of eating, you're stuffing yourself with mashed potatoes is gratifying.
We have kids as young as 4. We have a 4 to 6 year old category, and then it's just amazing to watch.
Okay, well, good. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. Thanks for
I'll
being here.
expect you to be there.
Okay, yes, count on it. Thank you for being here, Spiro, and thank you for watching. We'll be back again next week with another edition of Eye on the Arts. Eye on the Arts is made possible in part by South Shore Arts, the Indiana Arts Commission, and the National Endowment for the Arts, a federal agency.